Recording. All right. Hey, team. Welcome to our weekly Monday night huddle. I feel like I have to kind of whisper because Izzy's sleeping, but you guys can still hear me, right? Typically, I feel like I'm like yelling, so this might be a better change of pace. Um, Wait. Oh, he was moving his foot and it made me nervous. I feel like I have to be quiet when he moves. Um, Anyways, hope you guys had a good weekend. I don't know if you guys saw my news. I think most of you guys did, but I did not get to go to Leaders Retreat. It was so crazy. So I was supposed to leave Thursday for the airport at like 10:30 a.m. And Wednesday night, I kind of started feeling like mastitis was happening and it was like starting to happen. And I was like, okay, let me just nurse a bunch because they say nursing and resting, like that's the way to get rid of mastitis. So that's what I did like all Wednesday night. So Thursday morning, I took my temperature and it was like 100.1. And I was like, okay, that's still pretty like low. It's not scary. And I was feeling weak, but I was like, oh, I'll be fine. So I told Obi, I'm like, if this is worse as it gets, like I'm good. Like I can power through it. He wasn't going to go with me. It was just going to be me and Izzy. So that was Thursday at like 8 a.m. And then, so we were supposed to walk out the door at 10:30 a.m. to go to the airport. Like at 10:25, I was feeling so much worse and weak. Like, who's had mastitis before? Okay. So Judy, not very many. Okay. So mastitis is like when you're nursing and all that stuff. Anyway, so it's basically you feel like you have the flu. Like you are just weak and fever and chills and all that jazz. So like at 10:25, Obi's like, you need to take your temperature again because you were acting a lot worse than you were like 10 minutes ago. So took it and I had been telling him, I'm like, I just need God to give me a sign. Like if I'm supposed to go, I'll go. If I'm not, then just give me a sign. Took the temperature and it was 103.2. I was like, there's my sign. Like I am not getting on an airplane with my baby with 103 fever. So super sad I had to miss it. My fever ended up breaking like Friday night or something. So I was sick all day Thursday and then some of Friday. But we had some awesome ambassadors going from our team. And Jill, I think Jill's the only one on here tonight that was able to go. So I'm just going to give some quick announcements and I'm going to let Jill kind of share what her top favorite takeaways were. She's been to Leaders Retreat before, so I'm excited to see what she thinks from this one, having gone to other leaders retreats as well. But the planner, who is still working their booty to get that super awesome planner from Plexus? Okay, you guys, we have until Friday to get that in the bag. So 2 new ambassadors and 2 new preferred customers with 75 PV. So you guys, we have got to finish that strong. I am still working my booty off to get that. That ends Friday. What else? You guys, we're going to have health and happy hour this Thursday night. So go ahead and start, inviting your potentials that want to learn more. It's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. All throughout the day on Thursday, I'm going to be posting about the products. And then at 8 p.m. Central Standard, we'll have 30 minutes of live testimonies from our own team. So excited about that. So be sharing that with people. And then the IPA challenge, you guys, this is the last week of that. Who's been doing the IPA challenge and feels like it's been helping? Okay. I've heard from several of you guys that you feel like those challenges have just refreshed your mind on ways to post or how to reach out. So I'm glad that seems to be giving us fresh ideas on how to be reaching out. And then, okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Jill, did you want to share kind of your top takeaways from Leaders Retreat? And then I was just going to kind of cover a couple things that you might not, even though you obviously know way more than I do.
Okay, well, I was thrilled to be able to go to another Leaders Retreat. And I took Amanda with me as my guest, and she was planning to join us tonight, but she's got a crisis call that she needs to take, so she's can't join us. And I think Tristan is still traveling, and I don't know, Karen and Lori, I didn't connect with them today, but it was phenomenal. So if you haven't been to a convention or to a leaders retreat, Plexus does everything huge. Wherever the venue is, they set it up and they wrap everything, the windows. I mean, we had charging stations that were wrapped with Plexus stuff. Plexus logos, and the swag was fabulous and all that good stuff. And the initial party that they do, the welcome reception, is just really nice. And it's just a night for people to get together, hug each other, squeeze each other, enjoy food and drink. There's really no planned, um, there's nothing planned. It's just like 3 or 4 hours of fun. And the amount of food that the company puts out for the ambassadors is incredible. It was Havana Nights was the theme. And so this particular Gaylord had an outdoor venue, and then indoors as well. So because there were so many of us, they had it in 2 settings. There was music going, people on stilts, and you might have seen some pictures that Tristan shared or Karen shared. That was really fun, and that was just a nice introduction to the event. When we came together on, let's see, Friday morning, it was 2.5 hours, 2 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. And started out with some of our corporate leaders talking about the different donations that Plexus has contributed to. They definitely mentioned the hurricane relief efforts. And they mentioned that there's a team at Plexus that is dedicated to that type of issue, and they're always looking at ways that Plexus can contribute to different relief efforts or different sources. They talked about why they picked the Salvation Army versus the Red Cross. Not to bash anything, but the Red Cross goes in immediately, and then the Salvation Army is there in the long run for the long haul. And so they said that if you remember, Plexus did that $100,000 outright donation, and then they matched up to another 100,000. And so the total that we were able to contribute as a company was $301,630. And that, they said, that came like almost immediately. So between all of our contributions and then their matching, it was like 300,000. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Karen, yeah, you're going to have to talk. The leaders, Alec and Charles, kind of came out and talked a little bit. I didn't take a whole lot of notes. I really enjoyed the fact that they brought Amy Kosmowski up. And if you don't, she's one of my favorite diamonds to follow because of her passion for helping people with disabilities. And her daughter, Kayla, has Down syndrome. And so Amy talked about how when Kayla was born, she heard those 2 words, Down syndrome, that would change forever change her life. And then it turned into a passion and became her why. And it became bigger than her. And so if you don't know Amy's story, she started a foundation, and a grassroots foundation. And so she was one of the One Plexus leaders, or One Plexus award winners this past, a year ago, or trying to remember if it was this past convention. So that was really neat to hear from her. And she really just said, you need to find your why. And then of course, Kayla stole the show because she was there, and she came up on stage and did her little bowing and all that type of stuff. So I like to follow them. And that was really kind of a good uplifting story to start convention or start Leaders Retreat off. And then Alec came out, Alec Clark, and did his 10 ways to be happy, centered, and successful. And I think a couple of people might have already shared the screenshots, but he basically, I'll highlight them. And he said, don't make exceptions to your standards. Smile. You never know when that's going to help somebody. Be disciplined. Live the golden rule. Don't complain. Keep learning. Look up. And he meant that as in a couple of different ways. He said, people are always looking at their phones, so you need to look up more and take in what's around you. And then he said, and if you need to look further up, look up. And so that was a couple different takes on that. Set goals and writing them down are key. be humble, and to serve others. Those were the 10 ways to be sent, to be happy, centered, and successful. And so it really just was a good, positive feel to the morning. And then the great John Maxwell came out, and it was really kind of neat because he was fantastic. And he really hit home on, he referenced the 21 irrefutable laws. If you haven't read that, he referenced the law of the lid, and basically that is how well you lead determines how well you succeed. And the way you grow your business is by growing leaders. And so he went through the law, and then he also mentioned the law of process, and that says leaders develop daily, not in a day. And so those were the two from that book that he kind of mentioned. And then he went into his 5 levels of leadership. And that's actually, yeah, that's how successful people lead. Yeah. And then his is the 5, he focused on the 5 levels of leadership. And actually, I think it's in my book bag. I actually ordered that a few weeks ago and was reading it. And so it was, I didn't know of course, I didn't know what he was going to talk about. So it was perfect for me that he was reading that, or he was talking about that. So he definitely talked about those. I'm not going to hit everything because I know we have a limited amount of time, but let me think. He did say, I was writing pretty fast and furious, and I'm anxious to now take my notes from that speech as I'm reading the book, go along and remember what he said. But one thing I did write that was, leadership is servanthood, not perkhood. And so you need to definitely be pouring into others. Let's see. Developing, and he had written a book, Developing the Leader Within You, and he said it was like 30 years ago he wrote it. And so he's rewriting it, and it's going to be out in February of 2018. It's like Developing the Leader Within You 2.0, because he said a lot of it has to be just updated. So that's going to be his next book that was out. He said, I wrote, we teach what we know, but we reproduce what we are. So I thought that was good. And then, all leaders see more than others see, and they see it before others see. And then he said, do you see the bigger picture and see it before the others? If yes, you are a leader. And so for me, what I took from that, and what I was shared with Amanda, and this is my own notes, is that, do you see the bigger picture and see it before the others? Yes, you are a leader. I wrote Plexus's core beliefs and our focus on health and happiness. And that's why we are in the position our company is in, as opposed to some of the other companies out there that maybe offer supplements or diets or weight loss efforts, because we are seeing a bigger picture and our focus is into the future. But like Plexus came up with a triplex 3 years ago, and I haven't seen anything else that focuses on complete gut health like we do. And so that was where my mind went. And he also said, there is no such thing as tomorrow letting you catch your breath. So you need to do things today. And the fastest person doesn't win the race. It's the person that gets started first. And so it was just some key points that I wrote that I was able to chicken scratch down. Karen, do you have more you have other intricate stuff you can share about that first day?
From John Maxwell, I wrote down a lot of the same stuff you wrote down. But one thing that really stuck out to me is he went on to this, like, you think there's a problem, but there's not really a problem. And he had this funny thing that he just kept saying over and over. But it's 80% of your problem can be solved by creating momentum. And so he's like, if you just create that momentum, the problem you thought you had, which wasn't there in the first place, will go away. So if you can just create momentum, you can blow past all of these hypothetical problems that we put into our head about people think this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? And I love that, because I'm like, if we can just create momentum, then we'll blow past it. And that's what made me think of when we were at convention and I talked to Ame Darling, and that's what she said. She said, you know, it was me and another runner on my team, and we had so much momentum that it didn't matter all the mistakes that we were making or thought we were making. We kept going. Like, and that's what, it just kind of tied it all together for me. So I love that he said that. What else? And then back to kind of what you were saying, we attract who we are, not what we want. So like, you know, we think like, oh, I'm going to reach out to this person up here, kind of back to that, you know, the cap on your leadership. Like, I'm going to reach out to this person up here because I want them to join my team. Well, he said, it was kind of like an ouch moment too. Nobody wants to join a losing team. So if they're up here, they're not going to want to join you. So you have to be what you want to attract, basically. So if you want to be a strong leader and you want to recruit strong leaders to your team, then you have to be a strong leader. Like, so I love that.
What you said made so much sense, and I was so glad that we had read the 21 Irrefutable Laws. I think that would be worthy of another book club because we have so many new people. But like, yeah, Karen is saying, if you're a leader as a 5, you're not going to attract people that are 8s and 9s. You're going to attract people down here. So you need to raise your leadership ability so that you're keeping going higher and higher. But what he was saying to us made sense, and I think there's a lot of people in that room that have read him. So he was fascinating, and he's 70 years old.
Yeah. And then he said this too, leaders are not looking for you, they already have a job.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like, because, you know, we're always looking for people that are like, I don't know, you know, I just think that to me that was, well, I have a lot of friends that might have like higher like corporate business jobs. And I think, well, why would they want this opportunity? For me, that made me think of, well, they are leaders and this might be something that they really do want to look at. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love that, Karen. And I just read something in this book, like, oh, where was it now? Basically, like, what did it say? It said something like, you can't develop people that don't have potential. Like, you have to find people that have potential. And if you're really trying to do this as a business, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we want everyone on these products for sure, but there are certain people that have potential because they're already successful with what they're doing, right? And people who understand business, once they understand our compensation plan, they will be like, whoa, yes, let me look into this a little bit further. Okay, I'm muting myself.
Right. So don't count them out, basically. Yeah, I love that.
Not only don't count them out, but pursue those people. Because those are the people, like, I mean, I have friends, their husbands make $300,000 a year, but they can't vacation with them whenever they want. They don't have time freedom. You know, they have financial freedom, but they don't have time freedom to enjoy that. Like, the kids do and the wives do, but the husbands don't. And to me, I would never be okay with that. Like, my family is with my husband included in that. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure that I have several friends that are like, man, if only I could take some of that financial burden off of him to where he doesn't have to work so hard. You know what I mean? Like, don't only not count them out, but pursue those people because those people want that time freedom. But anything else that you got from it, Jill and Karen? I love this.
Yeah, day 2 started out with Coach Ronnie Cuevas coming to the stage, and he's the other ambassador that that was awarded the One Plexus Award. He's our first male Diamond Ambassador. I think Mississippi Coaching Hall of Fame. He just got inducted into it. So he was cute because he's a coach, and so when he did his speech, he was walking, like he's walking the sidelines, and he's like, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna talk, and this is how I'm gonna do it. And so he paced and back and forth, and he was talking, and he said, you know, he didn't know anything about Plexus. His wife actually took his social security number and signed him up for Plexus. And he didn't know, he just didn't know anything about it. And then he said, to be successful, you must have passion, have belief, and have goals, and never quit. You must have passion in everything you do. If you don't have passion, you can't talk about it. You have to have belief in our company. If you have a goal without a plan, it's just a dream. And if you have a dream without a plan, it's just a wish. So he said you definitely have to set goals, make a plan, identify timelines. He played us a clip from the movie Facing the Giants. And I'm a big, like, I like those sports movies that are always like inspirational. You know, I could if Rudy's on TV, like, forget it. I'm just going to sit down and watch that because I love that movie. And so he played a clip, and it was of a football coach. And I hadn't seen this movie, but I looked it up, and I'm going to watch it now because the coach like took this cocky kid and said, "You think you can do this?" "Yeah, I can do it." And the kid basically had to do the army crawl. And he said, "You think you can do it to the 30-yard line?" And the kid's like, "I can do it to the 50." And he's like, "Okay." So he brings him over, and he makes the kid get an army crawl position, but then he brings another kid over and puts the kid on his back. So he has to carry the kid. But then the big thing is he put a blindfold on the boy, and so the kid starts crawling. And so he doesn't know where he's going. And he's got this, you know, just this coach screaming in his ear, "You can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it." And the kid was like, I can't. And you know, it's just it's a moving part of the movie, but he's going to break, and the kid does it, and he just keeps following and listening to the coach, and the kid's crying. And when he takes off the blindfold at the end, he's like, "Look, you're at the goal line." So that means he went 100 yards instead of 50. And it was just like what you can do when you have a vision in your head of what you want to achieve. And it was just a really neat thing. And so he said basically his whole thing is, what if I had, didn't have a vision or whatever, you just always have to have that in your head. What if I had said no? Where would I be today? That kind of thing. Because you talked about how Tarl and Alec had the vision for them. And when Tarl and Alec pulled him and Deborah Lawson and Sheila Medina into a room at one point years and years ago, when they had the breast check kit, he said, "We're going to make you millionaires. And what can we do to help you be millionaires?" And so they had the vision when the others didn't at that time, when like Ronnie and Sheila, they didn't have that vision, but Alec and Tarl did. And so for me, it just was like, well, who do you have in your life that has that vision for you? And for me, I mean, I have a vision of myself now, but when I get low on myself, Tristan has that vision for me. Amber has that vision for me. We all are, as a team, we have a vision for us as a bigger team. And I just like that. So that was just a good part of that morning. I just felt really good about that. I don't know what else, Karen, what else you want to share? That was sorry, I'm hogging it all.
No, I was going to say, I loved when you said that, because it brought it back to like, see what you see before others see it. Like, it's like they saw the vision before anyone else saw it. And I don't know, that was cool. It kind of like tied it all together,
Oh, and didn't he mention something like the very first leaders retreat or convention? There was like 7 of them talking to each other. I mean,
on the stage,
talking to like 3,000 people. Yeah.
That's so awesome. But think about that, you guys. That's the power we have in our hands. Like, you may be looking at your team and be like, okay, well, I only have like 5 people on my team. I only have 20 people, but if you as the leader keep that vision of what this can be and keep pouring it into your people, keep like reaching out to everyone and giving everyone the vision, not everyone's going to take the vision and run with it. There's going to be so many people that are like, whatever, I don't care. But the ones that do, you have the power to change their lives just by breathing that vision into them. Like, your team of 5 right now may be a team of 500 this time next year. So it's so exciting. I mean, Tarl and Alec, like, looking out and seeing how big it is every single year, like, that's got to be the coolest feeling ever.
Yeah, I think I think Ronnie, yeah, he just mentioned that they are always talking about us as, and that they have just this great vision for the company and for the ambassadors. So it was really kind of nice to hear from him about that. Let's see.
And I want to add to that, you guys, like one thing I love Tarl, but Alec like has my heart because he just like, he has such a vision for what this is going to do for families. Like he sees this because there were so many times he had to miss his kids' things. He has 5 kids and he had to miss a lot of their things growing up just to provide for their family, as most men do, right? And so he has such a vision for what Plexus can do for the family. And when we had Jewel training at convention last year, he made it very clear. He was like, I don't want you to sacrifice your family for this. Like, it's not that way. Like, do this for your family, not, so, and I will say, like, every time I run into him, like, he takes interest, like, in Izzy, like, he's not just like, oh, she has the baby here. Like, how annoying. Like, you can tell this is about the family. And that is so, like, incredible as our leaders of this company. Karen, did you have anything else that you wanted to add from your first leaders retreat?
I think it was just kind of, it was a very like humbling experience to be around that many amazing people and just like have them pour into us. And I don't know, like it was just cool to be in that setting where a convention is just like so many people and it's so crazy. It was nice that it was more laid back and you felt like it just kind of showed you how much the company really does care about us, like that they're willing to go above and beyond and do all of these things. Blake didn't actually go with me to the sessions because he had the boys, but he loved it. He was so cute. I texted him in the middle of when they did the reveal for the X Factor kids. He's like, I know, I just watched your live stream on your team page. He's like, this is a game changer. It was so cute. He was like so excited about it because he knows that's been my issue, is getting the kids a vitamin that has folate and a probiotic. So it's like, I have to mix the probiotic and milk and blah, blah, blah. So it was like, he was blown away by how awesome it was.
Actually, let's segue into that. So I was just going to touch real quick on, so the new back office is coming beginning of November, you guys. I think what they say, November 5th or 6th or something like that.
I think it's like 4th or 5th. Yeah.
4th or 5th? Okay. So that is like what, next week, right? Next weekend or something. So be expectant. That obviously, I love that they're doing it at the beginning of the month. They're so smart because I think they changed it last time. It was like the end of the month and we're like, no. Okay, so new back office is coming and they're calling it Genesis. Is that what they're calling it? Okay. And then Canada will be open for business. I think they said December is when they're hoping to launch all that.
They'll give us dates, I think December.
Okay.
And for those of you that didn't know, like Canada only is allowed to sell like 3 or 4 products right now. And they're advertising, like the ambassadors aren't even really supposed to talk about Plexus on social media, like mention the actual names and stuff. I follow a couple of them and there's a group, Facebook group that I'm in, and I know
what is it called, Jill?
It's just called Plexus Canada. That it's a Facebook group that I've been in for probably a couple of years now, and just I follow also Holly Roberts. She's a Facebook friend, and so I kind of keep in touch with her. She's on the bigger team, but yeah, apparently they have a lot of restrictions, and so I'm hopeful that it opens it up for them. They did mention there's going to be some opportunity of a lifetime events, like 5 or 6 of them in Canada. So if anybody has Canadian contacts, this is definitely the time to start reaching out and at least just upping your communication with those friends, because I think once it goes, it's going to explode. I mean, there is already a diamond in Canada, but it's going to just take over too. So It's
Yeah.
exciting for them.
That's so awesome. And they used to be able to share and everything. I think that they were just like really like hunkering down on how they could share because of regulations. And so Plexus was kind of like removing themselves from the situation because they want to make sure they had legally everything good to go before they open the floodgates there.
So I didn't realize that about Canada. I don't know. I just had never heard that before. And one of my dream teamers is actually in Canada.
Nice.
And so she is like a health coach, and she's been like, she keeps going back and forth with if she's going to order or not. But either way, when I was on the shuttle going back after they just talked about the Canada thing, I don't know if she was a Joel, but she seemed to know like a lot about the Canada stuff. And she was saying, another girl was asking her in front of us, and she was saying that she doesn't think that they're going to be able to sell ProBio 5. And so when I went back and looked at the picture of the product, sure enough, ProBio 5 was not on the picture that they put on the screen. It was like Slim and BioCleanse, and I can't remember. I can look it up here in a minute. But so something about ProBio 5 is going to be a little bit trickier to get to them.
We're going to be like smuggling it across the border.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So anyways, just to kind of give y'all a heads up, because I was like, are you sure? And then I went back and looked at the pictures, and I was like, well, sure enough, it's not one of the pictures that posted on the product combo.
Wow.
That they shared.
Huh. And then they released Super Saturday is going to be, I think, what is it, January 6th or 7th? It's a Saturday in January, and they're going to be live streaming it. I don't think they have as many locations this year. It looked like less locations, but they are going to be live streaming it.
Only about, I think, 12 or 13 locations. They typically have 20. My thought was that they may be able to get some into Canada, so they're reserving those extra slots maybe. But yeah, they're going to live stream it. For us in the Midwest, there was Ohio,
Iowa,
in Tennessee. Nothing in Illinois, nothing in Wisconsin, nothing in Indiana.
Okay.
Nothing in Missouri, I don't think. So
yeah, I don't think I saw Missouri either. Even like down here in Houston, typically there's a Houston one, and I think ours is Irving this year. So be thinking about that. You know, if you can travel to the nearest location, do it. You know, nothing beats being in person of, you know, big company events. But if for some reason you're not able to travel to the closest location, think about having, you know, hosting one in your home. I know we're talking about that down here already. And so be thinking about that, because that's a really fun way to host something with some of your local team. And then actually, Karen, would you want to touch on how incredible the new Children's X Factor is with your nurse background and actually your background with your kiddo?
Sure. I was going to do a little bit more research on it tonight because one of my really good friends, her kid has like all tons of allergies, but they said it has no common allergens. So it's not going to have like any milk or shellfish or dairy. What else? I can't remember. There's no sugar whatsoever. And so one of the things in the video she was saying, was it like 1.5 teaspoons of sugar in the gummy vitamins that we give our kids every day?
Yep. They said most gummies have 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, one per gummy. And so serving is often 2. And they said in a year's time, that would be 4 pounds of sugar.
That's insane.
And so I put that on my Facebook page today about the sugar. I've gotten some people, but you know what, when I sent messages yesterday to people, and I had 2 people come back and say, is it a gummy? No, there's sugar in it, in gummies. No, this is sugar free. So we are definitely a sugar filled world for sure.
Well, and I think just educating people on that, like those are things we don't know unless you research it. Like it's not like our doctors are telling us that, you know? So here we are as moms trying to do what's best for our kids. And then we're just filling them with sugar first thing in the morning, thinking we're doing a good job. So I think
the other piece is that there's like 25 different names for sugar. And so if you don't know that dextrose is a sugar, or, you know, a different, there's all those, if it doesn't just say sugar, it's going to be different varieties.
Yeah.
They make your glucose go up. So it is just a matter of educating. But I did like the no allergens, because I have a friend who's got a little girl with a corn and an egg allergy. And so when I messaged her, and I sent her the information already, she was super excited for that.
Yeah, so make sure you guys are posting about that, even if you don't have little ones, your friends with little ones would love to hear about it. Karen, did you want to talk about like the gene thing and how that's so cool?
So if you have a gene mutation, it's called MTHFR. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but basically you can't process folic acid, and so it builds up in your body, and then it starts, it can exacerbate things, or it can show up as all these like horrible symptoms. And it there's so much research that's not officially out yet, but it's just like so many things are linked to MTHFR that is like way beyond us that we know right now. So basically the way that you stay on top of that is by avoiding folic acid. So if you're taking gummies, if you're taking like a normal kid's multivitamin, if your kids are eating like a lot of processed foods, and they're just building themselves up with folic acid all day, every day. And so that's just, building that up in their body, and they can't really process it. And so they need folate, and they need methylated folate. And so this vitamin actually has the methylated folate in it, so that they can process that, and they don't have that toxin buildup. So to me, that's a huge deal, because my kiddo has one of the MTHFR genes, so it probably comes from me or Blake, or we both haven't. We haven't figured it out yet. But our X Factor Plus that we take has that. The kids did not have that, so I haven't been giving it to my kiddos because of since I found that out and started doing research about it. So for parents that have children with that, that's a big deal to them. They, read labels. They make sure that they avoid the folic acid, just because of the issues that it can cause. So that's a big deal. And then it does say, I found a little, and I think I haven't got a chance, Jill, you were able to do some shareables from the back office. Is that what you've been doing? They gave us this little handout. And it says, peanut, soy, or wheat. So that's a lot of allergens.
And Karen, did they go into like the probiotic in it and stuff like that?
It has it has 2 lactobacillus, and then
oh wait, Karen, I can't really, sorry. Oh wait, what'd you say? It has what in it?
I don't know how to say all these words. It has
it's just
2 of the lactobacillus and then 1 of the bifidobacterium.
And
so I think it's like 4 strains.
I'm just so excited that they have the probiotic in it, like that's super exciting.
Yeah.
It's 4 billion live units, I think, and dosing is 2 years to 3 years. They say like 2 to 3 years. I think 1 tablet, and then like 3 years and up or something like that. So it goes down to age 2, which is nice. And Tristan's not on here, but JJ approves. He took it, and she was worried that he wasn't gonna like it. And she's like, "Oh, I don't know if he's gonna like the flavor." Well, his eyes are like this big, so.
Yeah, it's a new
Amanda tried it too. She tried hers. We got samples. Amanda tried hers, and she was not a fan of the other one, but she said it was chewier and it dissolved quicker. So I don't know.
It's a new flavor, right? What's the new flavor?
It's like tropical fruit or
okay.
Tropical splash.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
our back office, if you go into shareables and if you scroll to the left, I mean, if you click on shareables, you get products, but if you scroll to the left, there's a column with like 5 more categories, and you can get even more shareable information than what you initially see on your desktop. It's so thorough. And then of course there's people sharing different things already on Facebook, but when you're in your back office, if you hit that Facebook icon or whatever, if you don't know, you hit that, and then it takes it directly to your personal Facebook page, and you can make a post. And then when your friends click on that, it takes them back to your personal shopping page. So if I post from my back office, please don't copy mine, because your friend is going to click to my link, if you understand what I'm saying. So all of our shareables are customized to each of us, and the link back to our own pages for shopping, our own back offices. But there's a lot on there, and going further, each product now, the shareables, there's products listed for everything, or shareables for each product now.
Well, and I'm so excited about the X Factor chewable, obviously for my kids, but who is more willing to spend money on your kids than on yourself, right? So I feel like this is such a great way to like get people started on the products, you know, and I'm a Plexus ambassador. I should be amazing at taking my own products. There are days I forget to take my own products, but you better bet your bottom dollar I have my kids' vitamins sitting out ready for the morning. Like, that's just how we're wired. We take care of our kiddos, you know, more than we're going to take care of ourselves. So think about that in a marketing sales strategy, you know, like hook somebody with getting their kids healthier. And then once they realize, oh, okay, like this is working for my kids, or, you know, they really like it. What else can I get? Oh, maybe I should get myself a vitamin, you know, like it's a great way to get people starting on a health journey. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. Like, I have so many friends who, you know, like even my wholesalers, they buy the Slim every month for themselves. That's not 100 PV, you know, just the Slim for themselves. So I am reaching out to them about, hey, did you see the new vitamin? Blah, blah, blah. Your son would probably love it. You know, like let's boost that up and let's get your son started on this vitamin. So
and the price stayed the same.
What's that?
The price stayed the same.
That's awesome.
And if I remember right, there was an email a couple weeks ago. So some of our X Factor Kids customers may be getting another email soon with a discount, because they had sent out an email that said, be on the lookout. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some notifications. But they did say that the percentage of customers purchasing the chewables was pretty low, and so they're hoping to really ramp that up. And I think it's perfect timing, especially with the seasons changing and people's immune systems are seem to be weaker right now. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can at least get some interest in this, because I haven't heard of any other vitamins. Oh, and there's a comparison chart too that was really nice that we haven't been able to share in the past, where we haven't been able to name other brands. And so there's a chart in the shareables, I believe, and it shows like all those different check factors about Plexus. Yes. And then it says like Culturelle or Dr. somebody's vitamins, like 5 or 6 other popular vitamins and what they have. And then of course all the X's are what we have, you know, with our X Factor. But that's huge too, that our company is absolutely able to say, now we have this and the others don't, whereas we're not graying out their name or you know, like the probiotic name with the little marker on it, so we can't say we haven't been able to do that in the past. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's what I love about our company is, well, I love so many things, but that's one thing I love is every big event we have, they're not coming out with like 10 new products that are just, you know, basic, good enough, you know, like every product they're coming out with has the research, you know, we get that stamp of approval, like this is one of the best on the market, and for what you can get for the price, like it probably is the best for the price. So, like I love that we can go out there with products that we know have the science behind them. Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Oh, Casey, go for it.
Can I share? I actually had a customer try to break down the price point because she's got 4 kiddos. I did a shareable today, and she was interested, and it's somebody who hasn't even been on my radar before, and she's got 4 kiddos, and she said she was just trying to figure out the price point for it. So I had figured, and I didn't realize it was 2 servings per child. Her kids are older, so they could take 2, but at least starting off with 1. So it is 58 cents for 1. And so she's got 4 kiddos, it's $2.33. When I broke it down for her for price, because I know money is definitely tight for them, it was like $1.53 for an ambassador. Because I had ordered it, and when I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it showed that I only paid $22 for mine when I ordered it. And so I went back and looked at my order, and that's what it was, and then I broke it down that way. So
That's awesome, Casey. That's awesome. Sweet. That's a good deal. I mean, what mom wouldn't pay 50-something cents for their kid every day to be healthy, right? Oh my goodness.
I do want to add, I just read this, and it was one of the questions I had too. It's like a Q&A thing. It says, if my child already takes a probiotic, can they take X Factor Kids? And it says, X Factor Kids is formulated to be the one supplement that your child needs. So basically, they're not going to have to take a probiotic in addition to this, or they don't have to take this and worry, okay, do I still need to give a probiotic? Like, this is supposed to be the complete supplement that you give your child. And like, that's a game changer. Like, that's huge. So especially like for people that are really focused on, making sure your kid gets everything that they need in one day, like, that's a big deal. So
That's
I love
huge.
that.
That's huge because like my Zoe, there are days if she's not in the mood to take her vitamins, there's no way I'm going to get one. Well, I can get one down, but like multiple things, like she just is not in the mood. So I love that it's just like one and done, because those kids with attitudes on certain days. Awesome. Thank you, Karen and Jill, for sharing that.
Can I just add real quick, I'm back on these shareables, but we got copies of all of them. And I really encourage you guys. And on another topic, I got hit by the compliance police last week. So that's another whole discussion about posting and sharing. But so if we use what's in our back office, what they have for us is compliant, but it gives ideas for personal messages for people. So there's 3 different options, and obviously you can tweak them, but then there's different hashtags to use. That has exact ingredients of what is in the X Factor. I mean, there's different types of B vitamins, exactly what we're using. So we don't have to guess, and we don't have to go off of anybody else's Facebook posts that might have been shared or incorrectly shared, the wrong words are in there. So, and there's also, I didn't get to look at it yet, Ame Darling did a 10 or 15 minute video about this X Factor children stuff. And she's a nutritionist, diet nutritionist that I follow. She's one of the jewels. I think she's an emerald or a sapphire now, but I haven't gotten to look at that, but definitely just utilize the back office, because it's where we're going to get the most accurate information, I guess.
Yes, guys, go check out your shareables. And I'm curious to see how that works, because I know from like Facebook things I've heard in terms of training, whenever you're posting a link, like Facebook doesn't really like that because they want to keep you in Facebook. They don't want to send you to other websites. So typically when you like post a YouTube video or you post like a link to your website, like in the actual like post, not the comments, but the post, Facebook typically doesn't show that to a lot of people because they want to keep you on Facebook. So what I would say to that is go to shareables, find the wording, find those things, but then slap it on a picture of you, slap it on with a picture of your kids, like make it aesthetically pleasing, but good information. Okay. because that's the thing. Like a lot of times Facebook might not be showing if you're sharing it, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Because I know that they want to keep you on Facebook. They don't like when we post links. So I know I've seen some people posting like, oh my goodness, this is the best article ever. It's in the comments, because they know if they actually post the article in the wording of their post, it's not going to show up to as many people. So that's just a word of advice as well. And you can share shareables like through email and, you know, text message and stuff like that. So if you have someone who's like, oh my gosh, I need to know about the X Factor chewable, blah, 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 just send it to them. You know, you can send them that information directly and it will go to your website when they're ready to order. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing all the knowledge, so much wisdom. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to go and partake and have so much fun with your families. That's the fun part about Leaders Retreat. There's so much downtime. So hopefully you got a fun little vacation out of it. And you guys keep planting seeds right now, because, you know, whatever you're doing right now is going to reap you that harvest in the new year. So think 30 to 60 to 90 days out. Like plant those seeds right now, because it's definitely going to pay off. All right, y'all. Night. Love you. Have a blessed night, guys.